faith. Have faith. Believe in your source. Have faith.
Welcome to Artists, Icons, and Entrepreneurs, the podcast that dives deep into the stories of trailblazers who shape our world. Our co-host, Lulu Benavidez, is a seasoned entrepreneur in the beauty industry, is a photographer, artist, and the proud owner of Lulu's The Salon in Galveston, Texas. Our other co-host, Krokonis Hanson, is a visionary in the entrepreneurial world with years of experience in business innovation and development. Together, they bring you insights, inspiration, and the journeys of remarkable individuals who have made their mark. And with that, let's get started. Sonya Dove is a globally recognized icon and is forever pushing new expressions of wonder and beauty. Fueled by her passion for teaching and education, her curiosity continues to inspire her stylist community through the art she creates and her unwavering commitment to developing others to find their own voice within the beauty industry. Sonya's effervescent curiosity for learning and warm, generous teaching style give her the perfect juxtaposition of mentor/mentee to garner accolades. Prestigious and varied, Sonya holds numerous North American hairdressing awards. Her highlights include the Leo Passage Award for Education Excellence, Favorite Educator, Icons of Color Award, the Industry Ambassador Award, the Master Hairstylist of the Year, and International Icon of the Year. In 2024, Sonya was named Creative Director of Intercoiffure for North America. Partnering with Wella Professionals as their Global Creative Ambassador for over 40 years, Sonya plays an integral role in the brand's trade presence with color innovation, inspiration, and education. As a celebrity colorist to Wella Professionals' roster of brand ambassadors, including Sophie Turner, Game of Thrones, and X-Men from 2016 to 2018. As a result, Sonya has found herself in the consumer eye advocating the craft and professionalism that exists within her stylish community to the world of social media influencers and bloggers. Representing Wella Professionals on the Ulta Beauty Pro team, Sonya collaborates with educators from a range of professional hair care brands, creating editorial/competition shoots, as well as education and trend development designed to inspire and educate Ulta beauty stylists across the country. Her heart has always belonged behind the chair, and she continues to offer her clients salon services as an elite designer at the salon at Ulta Beauty in Santa Monica, California. Sonya sources her creativity from nature and people, and she actively surrounds herself with creatives of all industries and uses her experiences in life and the industry as inspiration when mentoring or judging hair competitions. Backstage at New York Fashion Week producing photo shoots, film wig work, most visible being Hunger Games Catching Fire, and on stage at industry shows and events. Her ability to balance everything with grace has her as a returning member of the Leading Ladies panel at trade events, a girl-powered lineup that addresses issues in the beauty industry and how to juggle everyday life in order to live the life you want. Sonya continues to be a guiding influence in global hair trends and pours her heart into everything she does, even when she has her audience at the edge of their seats and receiving standing ovations. It is her humble, down-to-earth nature and ability to educate and inspire hairdressers to achieve excellence that is a testament to her continued and iconic success in the beauty industry now and for years to come. To find out more information about Sonya Dove, please visit her website at sonyadove.com, follow her on Instagram at @thesonyadove, and follow her on Facebook at sonya.dove.stylist. Now let's welcome in Sonya Dove.
Welcome, artists, icons, and entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Lulu Benavidez, and I'm so happy to be here today with all of you. You know that this podcast is about celebrating creativity and exploring the journeys of our guests. Whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or someone just looking for inspiration, you're at the right place. Before we start our conversation, I'd like to just tell our audience, thank you so much for being part of this episode. And if you're not, please tell your friends and listen to us on Apple, Spotify, if you're listening, or any of your platform that you have your podcast on. Or if you want to see Sue and I and the guests, you can go to YouTube at Artists, Icons, and Entrepreneurs and definitely see all the images of our guests that we're interviewing and also their bio and see us do the interview, the episode.
And hit subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it's a wonderful way for us to see how many people are watching. We could really appreciate you hitting subscribe. It helps us with our algorithm ratings for podcasts.
And it sure does. And now, although we only started a couple of months ago, we have some fabulous guests. But before we introduce our guests, let me introduce my co-hosts. the fabulous Sue Krokonis Hanson. Sue?
Well, thank you. And again, part of what has made doing this podcast so special are the phenomenal guests that we have on. And it sounds a little trite, but when you talk about an icon, an artist, an entrepreneur, that Sonya Dove, the name personifies all of those things. And she would be all of those things no matter what. But considering she's a well-rounded, balanced woman, I am definitely on Team Sonya Dove. And I really want to be able, we all know you from teaching and your wonderful presentations, but we want to pull back the curtain on our podcast and learn just a little bit more about you, Sonya. And thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Sue and Lulu. I'm so excited.
Sonya, you know, I've known you for a long time. You think I know you personally, but we see you all the time on Facebook, Instagram, and at shows, but we never ever met. But we know all the same persons. It's amazing, you know?
Like we know you.
So we feel like we know you.
It's a small circle, but a big circle.
Sonya, did you always know that you wanted more than working in a salon? Can you talk about your journey?
Yes, actually, I did. I remember my first job in a hair salon, I was 19. And at 19, you just want to do it all. Mm-hmm. So I did work in the salon during the day. And then the gentleman that owned the salon, he didn't really want to do any training or any evenings or anything for education. So what I did, I started on this quest of doing competition work. And that's how my journey started, because I'm a big competition person. I love entering competitions. And back in the day, it was a live model there. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a photograph. Mm-hmm. And the judges would just walk around with a board and mark them. And the models would sit all posed and everything. And I entered competitions for about 5 years. So he would let me stay in the salon and practice on my model, and then I'd practice and practice, and then eventually after about 4 years, believe it or not, I finally got third, and I was like, wow, this is great, a big deal.
Wow.
And then I started using that one same model over and over again, and I just got better and better at doing her hair. And then finally, one year, I won a lot of competitions all over England, and that's how Weller approached me years and years ago and asked me to do a class in their studio. Just from the publicity of competition work. So that's why I encourage people, if you have visions of something creative to do and something that really gets you to do something more, do competition work, enter them. There's loads of them.
Yeah. People don't realize that competition is so important. I remember when I first started my career that I used to compete. And of course I had some trainers, and there was a married couple, and the guy was so hard on me, and I would take my model every week to Houston, and he worked at the Warwick Hotel, him and his wife. And so I would take my model, I would set her hair, and then, you get tired. And then at the end of the day, he came and we would look at my set before I combed it out. And he told me, I guess that those pin curls are going to buckle like hell. And so I looked at my model and I said, we should have taken this down before he saw it. And he looked me straight in the eye and he says, you just take her all down, weave her, and do it again. It was at 5:00 in the afternoon.
Oh my gosh.
But I can tell you that every competition that I enter under them, I won first place. Wow. So it goes to show you the discipline, and you become real comfortable with whoever your coach is. And when they're really hard, it's, when you learn so much from it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, on one of our very first podcasts, we had William DeRitter. Are you a friend of William's?
I know of him. Yes.
He's a wonderful gentleman.
Yes.
And of course, all the international competitions and judging and Mondial and all of that,
Yes,
so
the whole, he's done the ball.
yeah,
There's
he's a
lots of them.
sweetie. Yeah.
Competition work's good because it gets you more structured in your hair work. It's not just a quick old blow dry and off the model goes. It's a structured set and everything pin curls. And no, I love it. I loved it.
And I think back to competitions, and the one thing it makes you understand is structure. The structure of design, the way that a good haircut does. And I always feel today, when I just look at people on the streets or what I see in airports, I always look for a strong silhouette, because a strong silhouette tells you what the design is about, the feel of it. And so much today is just mediocre straight hair, and I'm jonesing to see a little bit more structure in the work, and it'll come. Everything evolves, but that's goes back to where I started with pin curls, and competition, and cutting, and perming, and coloring, and all of those elements to blend in and make a final design for sure. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Sonya, and I'm sorry if I sound like a groupie and a fan, and I'm going to say this, if I feel. There are a lot of talented women in our industry, but a lot of them are flash in the pan. They come, they accomplish something, they get a name for that thing, you kind of know the name, and then they go away. And you have been doing this for a young person. You've been doing this a long time. And you seem to have this balance in your life in the way that you are able to, at least you portray that in the way that you present. Do you have any little life secrets you'd like to share with us people who are going to be doing this for another 50 years, right, Lulu?
At least.
Well, actually, thank you. That's a very big compliment. It really is. But a couple of things, maybe. When someone sees something in you that you don't really see in yourself. But I do know what you mean. Sometimes people come in and they come out. But I'd really love the industry, not for the hair, but for people.
Yes.
So people are the reason I'm in the industry, whether it's someone that's educating me or whether it's my clients, whether it's my friends, whether it's our community in hair. But something I tend to do a lot, and someone pointed this out about 4 or 5 years ago, is I like to be around young people. I find them really interesting. Like an example would be, I've been hairdressing for 42 years. I've been with Weller for 42 years and hairdressing 45. So I'm 62, and someone pointed out to me that, why do you go to something like Coachella on your own? I love going to things where lots of young people hang out, and I like to watch them and see them and be with them. And I'm always a big believer in that, hanging out with young people that are soaking up everything, because they energize me and I energize them. And the other thing is, I tend to try, if I can, it's not the greatest example, but someone I really like is Madonna. And Madonna if you think of her back years ago, she's reinvented herself time and time again. You look at her at the beginning and you look at her now, and in between, she goes through this whole reinvention. And even though, yes, I've still got the same bob I had about 40 years ago, it's only because
Classic bob.
I've got the most thinnest, finest hair, and it's at the end of the day, it's the only haircut that works for me. I tend to try and change myself, and I change my attitude. Like at the moment, I'm really into enjoying what AI and what everything else is bringing into our industry. How's that going to play out in competition work? Especially when it's a photo. We might have to go back to live models one day, because how do we know? So it's just, I'm a big researcher and looking for what's coming ahead, and I like to see street fashion.
Yeah.
And then that's how I get inspired, not the trends that I read from the runway, but what's actually really happening out on the street. Yeah. So maybe a combination of all those.
You know, you talked about AI, and one of my friends, and you probably know him, Luis Alvarez.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I kept, seeing his models, and I kept looking at their torsos were so long, and they were so, and the models were so fine. I kept saying to myself, how in the hell does he get these models? Well, I attended a workshop where he did Photoshop.
Yep.
And he used the liquefy tool. And I know Photoshop also because I shoot also. And he elongated the torso. Then the shape of the hair was a little flat when you photograph it.
Yep.
And he just used the liquefy tool to make
Yep.
it bigger. And I thought, oh my God. So now I don't believe anything that comes into the salon.
Yeah, exactly.
And being a photographer, that you can take those photographs and you can put them into whatever software, whether it's Photoshop or I think that there's one called Evolve or EV something, and it will enhance that photograph. Yeah. So as a coach, and you're looking at these images, are they really the images that are they true? Yeah. Or are they not? It's really something when you think about it.
It's going to get very interesting, I think. And I find it fascinating. I'm not against AI, but I'm not for it. Mm-hmm. It's got its place. I'm not against the driverless cars and things like that. But I have watched movies like I, Robot and things like that. So we don't know. Give it 100 years, give it 50 years. We don't really know.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, the Roomba was a robot. I mean, was a AI. So if you look at history, and you can tell you all the history, whether electricity, it's all evolving. So that's where AI is at. So anyway, that's another subject.
Well, I'm going to switch and bring it back because, again, Sonya, you've, with Wella, all the people you've worked with, your new career moves and things. I'm just curious as to who might be some of your heroes, people that you really looked up to help you along the way. We all have them.
Yes, we do. Actually, unfortunately, my biggest hero was Trevor Sorby. Yeah. And I don't say unfortunately, it's just he just recently passed. No. Which is really, really sad, really sad. But he was unbelievable for me. And I remember when I went to my first hair show at Salon International in London, I saw Trevor Sorby on stage. I thought, wow. Another one was Robert Lebetta. And he was like, wow, to be doing what they're doing. Wow. And then as a woman, I saw Rita Rusk.
You're hitting all my heroes. You're hitting my...
We must be in the same age.
Yeah, absolutely.
Irvin and Rita Rusk. Time, though, ladies, when I think about it, it was a little bit more
it
male-dominated.
very much so.
Whereas now when I can think of women in the industry, there's loads more. Yeah. But there was Chris Sorby, Rita Rusk, but definitely Trevor Sorby. Yeah. And also my ex-husband inspired me a lot, Christopher Dove. He is an amazing hairdresser, amazing hairdresser. Yeah. And he was more visionary, where I was more practical. Creative. We were creative in different ways. Yeah.
The thing that always struck me about Trevor Sorby, I had the opportunity around him twice, which was a total gift, and could not get over was how humble he. What a humble, gentle, calm person.
So Sonya, you wear many different hats, and of course you mentioned Wella, and you are a global creative ambassador as well for Alter Beauty.
Yes.
Are you now the creative director for Intercoiffure? Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God.
Congratulations.
It just got announced not that long ago. And I'm a big Intercoiffure member. I've been Intercoiffure member when I was in England and I had my salon. And I've never thought in a million years. And the president called me up one day and asked me if I'd be interested. And it's really good because for Weller, there's never been an artistic director that's been sponsored by Weller. It's always been Matrix, Redkin, Aveda, and other people before. So Weller really liked it, which I'm really lucky.
Yeah.
So yes, I start in January.
Oh, wow.
Right.
So is it going to be in New York?
Yes. So they do a spring one in April, end of March, beginning of April, and this year's is in Las Vegas. And then the one that they do at the end of September is always held in New York. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
Yeah. I was a member, and, I dropped out in 2020. And then Sue and I did, Sue has a company called Evolve, which is like a hair topper.
Hair solutions. We have hair pieces that you can install with no glue, no tapes, no adhesives. The client wears it for 4 to 5 weeks, and then they return to the salon. And we've been doing it for 15 years. It's extremely profitable for the salons. The clients love it. They won't do without them. It's good repeat business. And we're just, I like it. We're a small little company. We have a very close relationship with all of our certified stylists and salons. And we've always been a B member of Intercoiffure. So as a manufacturer, we've been lucky enough to Lulu did
a show for them. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I saw the name Evolve.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure. I've got to do some of my homework.
EvolveHairSolutions.com. And if you want to know anything further, just reach out to me.
That's great. Yeah, no, I'm super excited because it's a different audience for me, because the Intercoiffure members are members that are from salons, what I call solid.
Yeah.
No, they're solid. They've been doing it for years, and they're commission salons.
Right.
And my passion is that, because that's how I started off. I was commission salons for me, that team feeling, you do things together, it's everything. I am not the personality that I would be very good in my own suite. Me and the four walls, no. I have to have people. I have to have people around me and energy and things like
We're
that.
all salon people. Lulu has a gorgeous salon in I was going to say Galveston, Iowa. And I had 9 salons in a school. And when we first launched Evolve, part of what was different about our company is, rather than going to hair replacement centers and things like that, I felt that there was a real need in salons, because there were more and more women with fine and thinning hair. Not just older women, but younger women, people wearing extensions, people had various stressors in their life now where they go through hair loss. And so we're very, very committed to the salon and professional stylists. And we saw a little teeny tiny niche, and we came in. And the great news is the salons that get on board with us have been with us forever. It's just a family that grows. We're kind of the biggest unknown company in the professional beauty industry. And sometimes that's a good place to be.
Exactly.
And you don't have to be the biggest to be the best. So but I'm really interesting, particularly because you are now the artistic director of Intercoiffure. I've been doing this like you, Sonya. I've been in the business 50 myself to say it, 50 plus years.
Wow.
And I've been through all the evolutions, from clips to cuts to perm rods to coloring to foils to brushes to back to the razor to men's cuts. And it's kind of these big trends, but within a trend, looking at fashion and lifestyle and whatever. And for the first time, Sonya, for the first time ever in my life, I look at what's out there and I am very, very, very confused about what's happening with hair and what's happening with the professional beauty industry. And I would just love to hear any perspective that you can give us on what you see or you're feeling.
Yeah, it is confusing. First of all, trends, if we start with trends, there's everything now. I mean, if you look at the runways, years ago, everyone had the same exact hairstyle.
Correct.
Now you've got curly, you've got short, you've got very long, you've got straight, you've got everything. So it's more about the individual. They started off this thing of the individual, which isn't such a trend. It's a trend for the person that's in front of you, your guest. So you've got all this information and you've just got to do the best you can with the information, but for the person that's sat in your chair. So there's that going on that creates a bit of confusion because it's not so structured. Then you've got the manufacturers all coming out with what they feel a trend is. So you've got all that happening. And
a lot
then
of noise, a lot of noise.
yeah, a lot of noise. Yeah, because the manufacturers base their trends based on products coming out.
Correct.
Whatever they've got out coming out new, they base the trend on that because they want you to buy that. It's normal.
Yes.
It's normal for any. And then you've got people, a lot of people still do their hair at home and they're creating trends themselves. Like young kids doing stuff. And the other thing that I find so funny, and I know you two, Lulu and Sue, would appreciate this, and I say it all the time. When I'm on stage and I've got someone with, let's say, a long layered haircut, face framing, layers, long to maybe the bra length. That for me is not a butterfly cut, a wolf cut, an octopus. What other names are there out there? I don't even know. They're all these names. It's known as a long layered haircut.
Yay!
It's getting really sort of gimmicky. Gimmicky, these names. Like someone said that I had the housewives bob or some housewives bob, and then there's the French bob, and then there's this. It's like, it's a bob. It's just like, come on, people. So I think all of that is adding to confusion because it's not clear and direct. There's a lot of noise. You said it, it's a lot of stuff. And I think that's confusing for people. But there again, maybe the alpha, which is the new generation, the newest one, maybe that's what they like, is for it to be so all over the place that it can be, they can pick and choose what they want. But for me, and maybe for yourselves, coming from where we've come from, it's very confusing. It's confusion. But it depends who you speak to, really does. But there is, and a lot of the trends that you look in Vogue or any of the magazines, it's something that's already been out lots of times with a different spin on it.
I think that we have been in it so long that we've seen everything, the attrition, all the trends come up. So there's nothing new. That's where we always a bob's, layered look is a layered haircut. There's only so many ways that you can cut hair. And the manufacturers, like you said, whatever products they put out that season, because they want you to buy them, which is okay because they do different things, and styling and finishing, So that's not a problem. It's knowing how do you differentiate yourself from your client, yourself, and whoever you're talking to.
You just have to try and keep it real. Like if it's a guest in the salon, I just cater to them, their needs. If they want a bit of fashion put in, if they want to be trendy, I would suggest something that's trending at that time, a shorter fringe or a pop of color or something, and try. So it just depends who you're speaking to, really. Because
I watched a presentation at Inner Coiffure when I was just a mere child. At that time, I believe Don Shaw was the artistic director. And I always felt that Don really understood this concept of trends. And he did these models and everybody was blown away and everybody's standing up, clapping. And then they sat down and he said, let me explain to you. We all work in salons. We do this for ourselves, to motivate ourselves. But this season, when I'm working on my clients, I'm going to say to them, bangs are really in. We should just work towards doing this little piece right here. And he snipped And he said, when they come in, he talked about do this for inspiration, but we do it so all of our people back home could have one new thing this season to talk about to their client. And even if the client doesn't do it, she heard us talking about it. So when she sees it in a magazine or whatever, she knows we know what's happening. That was the best explanation to me that I had ever heard about why we do trends. And it was just so obvious that this is the foundation,
And it's just a small thing. You see, it doesn't have to be long hair cut off short. No, a trend, the smartest trends are where you do small changes to a guest, but fairly often.
Yeah.
And changes in cut and color, because it will just keep them coming back in. That's what, that's amazing.
I remember Don closing that with the closing line is, the next time when you're in the chair, we will, because you're already getting that client looking forward to that next visit. The next time you're in the chair, we will. So all of those things, It's exciting.
Brilliant.
It's exciting. We can hardly wait to see what you come out with, Sonya.
Oh, I know it. Sonya, I can't leave you without asking you about Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Game of Thrones, and X-Men. Can you explain that to us?
Yes. Well, it all stems from a person, the actress Sophie Turner. And what happened, you see, is Wella brought out a new lightener, and they wanted to have a celebrity icon as the face of the new lightener. And it was Sophie Turner. And then what happened is globally, they asked everybody to come and present to her. And she went and chose someone, plus Wella did as well. Unfortunately, it was myself. I got to change Sophie Turner from her iconic red. Yeah. She had long red hair. It was colored red. She's naturally like a level 8 strawberry blonde. And she'd had years of coloring, and I had the job of making her blonde. But it was quite an interesting scenario, because she wanted to be years and years of coloring it copper, so a dyed copper, and it was with Colour Touch and Colliston. And she wanted to be platinum like that in one go. And I had to break the news to her that it's going to take different steps, and that I will not be able to make her platinum that day in one go, because we had 2.5 hours. And I could tell by her face, she was really disappointed. So I explained the process, that it will be highlights, and the first stage will be like a strawberry blonde. Then the next stage would be more of a golden blonde. Then the next stage, more of a clean blonde, and we'll get you platinum. And she said, how long do you think that'll take? And I gave myself about a year and a month. We managed to do it in 11 months. So she was really, really happy. But the thing she was happiest about was that I was authentic in my delivery of telling her the truth. Because yes, I could have tried to make her platinum blonde, but her hair would have been this short from down her back, because we would have had to cut it off. Yeah, exactly. I explained this to her, and she said, I really like you. I really appreciate that you're taking the health of my hair into consideration. And we just hit it off on that day. And I got to do her hair for quite a few years, and it was a whole lot of fun. She lived in London at the time, and I would fly to London. This is before Joan Jonas' marriage. And I flew to London. I would touch up her hair color, and she was such a hoot. She's such a lovely person. And then I got to meet the boyfriend, Joe, and I got to meet the family, and then I went to a wedding in the south.
My God.
She's a lovely human being, really.
Wow.
Yes, but she was in all of those things, and she played a big part, and salt of the earth girl. Salt of the earth, so I was very blessed and grateful to get to do her hair for Wella, and it was for quite a few years as well.
Wow. Good.
Fabulous.
Yeah, and then the Hunger Games was a different thing. So there was the Sophie Turner and the thing she was on, Game of Thrones. But the Hunger Games, I assisted someone called Linda Flowers, and Linda Flowers does the hair for a lot of the big movies all the time. She excels in movies.
Yeah.
And I met her in LA, and we had room in our salon, and she came into the salon to do the wigs. And then she asked if Christopher or I wanted to help with the wigs. And that's where we did the wigs for the Hunger Games and Catching Fire.
Fabulous.
Two separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I suppose being in the right place at the right time.
That's right. That's right.
And being genuine. Genuine.
I was at the bar at a
That's genuine.
I was at the bar with the hair thing, and I wasn't sure if it was the lady next to me that was going to be next, which was Linda Flowers. I didn't know. Or me, and we struck up a conversation. And then she said, "Oh, I'd love to come and see your salon because I've got no space to do all these wigs." And it was with Dean and everybody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
cool.
brilliant. So Dean came, and it was fantastic.
We love Dean.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
so
did you
much
see
fun.
his episode? Were you able to click on it?
I will be able to now because of the Chrome thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't. It was saying that I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was in Safari.
Oh, good.
Well, I didn't know until Dean was on our podcast that we live 30 miles apart from each other.
No,
I'm from Iowa and he's from Iowa, and we live 30 miles apart from each other. And I did not know that till he was on our podcast. I almost lost my mind.
wow.
But he was going west to California and I was going east to New York. So there.
Isn't that funny how life is? You see, you don't know about people until you get to speak to them.
Correct.
Exactly. Exactly.
Assumptions. Yeah, assumptions and assuming is not really right.
Right.
You just don't know.
Right. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you, and this is a difficult one because you have so many awards and achievements. You've had so many different titles of honor. I'm just curious if there's one that's very special to you, or if there's a couple that just really, like, you knew, like, this is what I wanted and I got it. And do you know what I'm saying? Those benchmark moments.
Yes. Well, one big one that was a game changer in my career was doing my first solo show myself, because it's always been the Doves, Christopher and Sonya Dove and the Doves for years and years. And then Christopher chose to leave Weller. And then so it left me at Weller, and it was me, myself, and I. Weller asked me to do a show, the BTC show, behindthechair.com show for Mary Rector. It was a show in August, and I actually turned it down. I said to Weller, I don't want to really do shows. I'd like to focus on doing more classes and in-salon things, because the shows are more Christopher. And they said that they disagreed with me, but it's still my choice. And they said they still would like me to at least consider. And I said, I'll think about it. And they said, we'll support you 100%. You name it, whatever you want to do, we're going to let you do whatever Sonya Dove wants, not based on a product, not based on a thing. And I'm like, oh. So I ended up doing it, and I picked the models I wanted. I did the concept I wanted. It was all about food and wine and music. They're my three passions in life. I love to eat, I love to drink, and I love to dance. So I did a whole show.
In my club any day.
So I did a whole show on those three topics, not related to one trend whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I got the biggest standing ovation. In fact, Beth Minardi was after me.
Oh.
And she was in the wings at the back waiting to come on, because I finished my show and I walk off. And she was in the back waiting. And I couldn't get the people to sit down. I said, you've got to sit down. Someone else is coming on. And everyone just carried on clapping. So Beth came out and she just joined in. And it was just such a lovely show. It was such a fabulous time for me because I could feel every single one of those people in that audience was rooting for me to succeed.
Yes.
Whether I did or not, I just could feel it. And what was interesting, it was every manufacturer, the Gold Rolls, the Redkins, all of them, the L'Oreals, they were all in the audience because I know them all from being on the circuit and doing shows. So it made me even more nervous, but the love from the audience was exceptional. So that was the one show that I went from maybe there to there.
Yes.
And it was a big, huge career move. And it was a big thing for me with Weller because it proved to myself that I could do a show on my own. Yeah. So it was that woman thing. Oh no, I've always got to be in the background. Because I have severe low self-esteem.
Which we all suffer from.
So. You're right.
Yeah. Yes. But yes.
Which leads me to this question. What would you like your legacy to be? And how do you want to be remembered?
Wow. Well, the legacy, I know I want to be remembered as a kind, caring, compassionate person. That's it. I try to live my life being kind to people. There's not enough kindness. I don't care whether it's the person sleeping in the street or whether it's the person sweeping the street, whatever. Just be kind because I'm sort of that person for others, and it's what I give out, and I get a lot of kindness, compassion and caring back. So it's a two-way thing. God, my legacy, I don't really it's sort of combined with being just a nice person. I never sort of like legacy. I'm trying to think, what does legacy mean? Give me an idea of what a legacy would mean.
It means how you be remembered as.
What you leave behind. I think your legacy, this is me, but all of the thousands of classes you've done and all of the are all little seeds, and they're alive in all of those people that you've taught. And that education is just going to keeping passed on and passed on and passed on, even when you're not doing it anymore. But you were the beginning of that vision.
And I love that when you're teaching, because when you see the light bulb go off in someone, or they write to you, or nowadays they DM you on Instagram or Facebook. But when you know you've made a difference to someone's life, it's incredible. And the thing that I'm very passionate about is not only just in hairdressing. So I'm very big, I get involved a lot in Beauty Changes Lives, which is an organization. I'm always donating, and every year I mentor someone on Beauty Changes Lives, or they've changed their name now, but Canvas Me. I have mentors. I have people that I mentor every year, young people. So yes, helping them be better, not just in hair, but better in their whole life. Because at the end of the day, if your home life's not good, or things like at home good, your work life's not going to be good either. However much you think they're separate, they're going to make that difference. And I know personally, I've not had the best personal life.
Sonya, you are just such a classy person and such a wonderful figurehead to represent the professional beauty industry. You've gone through lots of changes, some professional, some personal. You've obviously come out on top and better for all of it. So I'm just wondering, do you have a special quote or motto or sort of something that works as your compass that keeps you being so centered and so focused on everything?
I don't, but I don't. But to be honest, I think the reason why I've done so well in my career is because I've had a very, not such a great personal. I've been married twice. It's Christopher Dove was my first husband, and then he was gay. And then I got married again to a gentleman, and then he was having an affair while we were married, and then he ended up shooting himself. So I've just got like not a great personal. But every time the personal life went not so great, I went to my happy place, which was hair. So I think that's why I've been so successful, because I have no children and I have done hair. I've had a career and I've gone at my career and done it because I just love it. It's my happy place. Whereas my personal life was never my happy place. And even at the moment, it's not, my personal life's still not that great, but I do love my hair. I've got a dog.
We love dogs.
Yeah. But I think in life, you know, and I'm not sure if this is the truth of people, I don't think you can have the most incredible personal and professional life. I yet to find someone that's got the two that is so euphoric, because it's either one or the other, and then when one's down, the other is better, and then when the other's not so good, it's like that. I don't know, but it keeps me real. I've always been real. Maybe it's my English attitude. We just say it as it is. We don't beat around the bush. That's why when I'm in meetings and things, I always ask that rather than scurrying around to what they want me to know, just say it to me direct, because that's the only way I operate. Is it a good thing to be so direct? I'm not sure. It's worked well for me, obviously, with what you two say.
Right.
Yeah, but it's hard to have it all. It really is. And I have focused most of my life on career because I just love it. I've traveled the world with being a hairdresser. I teach people, I make people feel good. How could that not be such a euphoric job? That's why I'm the first. I love speaking in schools. You know, when people are in schools, we have the best profession in the world. You can do so much.
Absolutely.
Oh, we can do so much.
Absolutely.
And so much can be working for someone in a salon. That's a lot. That's a lot. You can make a lot of money and make lots of friends.
And if you're in the right environment, it'll keep you young, it'll keep you motivated, it'll keep you laughing. And it's to find the salon that has that type of energy and personality is to find a home.
It is. It is. And the home, Sue, you hit on the word home. People don't have much of a home life anymore. It's really changed. It's not wrong and it's not right. It just is. So I think finding a home in a salon, that's where Intercoiffure is near and dear to me, because those people have built homes for their teams. When I think of people like Candy Shaw, you know, Jameson Shaw Salon, and there's Jean Mores's salon. There's loads.
One after another.
So Sonya, where can they find you at?
Like my social media?
Yes.
So I've been hacked 3 times. So that means going from whatever the number was back to 0. So my Instagram is the Sonya Dove. I needed to keep the name. And so I put the in front. I don't like it's called the Sonya Dove because it sounds so pretentious, but it's the Sonya Dove, SONYADOVE, and it's Sonya Dove in Facebook. I don't know if people use Facebook anymore. I use Facebook. I like Facebook. I'm not very good on the platforms of TikTok. It doesn't jive with me. I'm not a TikTok person. I'm just not that character. And I don't do that other one, the Snapchat. I don't do that. So yes. So Sonya Dove, that's where they can find me. And if anyone has any questions, I love answering questions. So just DM me because
on Instagram.
On Instagram, and just write me a message on Facebook because my passion is late at night, I'm having my glass of red wine and I'm answering all my questions. So please
I understand.
ask.
Yeah, and I'm a red wine drinker also. So, and Sue's a white wine drinker.
No, I'm not a white wine.
Do you drink what? What do you drink?
Mainly,
Cosmopolitan?
Pinot Noir is pretty much go-to. Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir. Okay.
That's really one.
But it would make sense that you're a white wine drinker. You're blonde.
Yeah.
Lulu's got the darker hair.
Mhm.
French and German. I will have a
Yes.
Riesling, please.
Yeah. Well, Sonya, it has been so wonderful to have you on our podcast, and you are a wealth of information, and you reap what you sow. You know, everything that you've done, you can tell that you have done it to your best.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank
so
you.
my
Thank
hat's
you
off to
very,
you.
very much. Thank you.
I propose we all get together someday and have a glass of wine or two.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. You should come to San Miguel.
Oh,
Say
yes.
it again. Say it
San
again.
Miguel. We'll have to be there.
The address. Lulu and I will plan a vacation. You know?
Yes.
It's lovely. And it's the Christmas time of year is gorgeous here.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Well, thank you so much for this interview, and we love you. We thank you. We know you personally because we've seen you on stage, but we know you.
Yeah.
Now we know you even more so.
You're a beautiful soul.
thank you so, so much. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Thank you for having such a wonderful platform so people can listen to, artists and people in the industry and share some of the things, how they got to where they got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Real people doing great things. That's what we're about. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow, what an episode. That wraps up another exciting edition of Artists, Icons, and Entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you're leaving inspired and ready to chase your dreams. Don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode over at youtube.com/artists, icons, entrepreneurs, as well as Facebook at Lulu Benavidez, on IG at Lulu Benavidez, at Evolve Hair Solutions as well. And don't forget to visit our website at lulubenavidez.com and evolvehairsolutions.com to stay updated. Until next time, keep dreaming big, creating boldly, and making your mark on the world. Thanks for listening, and take care, everyone.